In the quiet of a dimly lit room, the air hangs heavy, almost tangible, as if it could be scooped up in weary hands. Here the silence is a companion, a constant presence that echoes louder than any spoken word. It wraps itself around a heart that beats mechanically, not with life, but out of obligation. The room is cold, not from the chill of the night, but from the absence of warmth, a warmth that once filled spaces now left hollow. A voice, barely more than a whisper, cracks in the solitude. It is the voice of someone who has mastered the art of wearing a smile that cuts like glass. Each day begins with the ritual of pulling on a mask of cheerfulness, a mask that has become so familiar it almost feels like skin. Yet beneath it lies an exhaustion, a fatigue that seeps into bones and settles in the soul. It's the exhaustion of always saying, "I'm okay," when inside there is a storm raging, unseen and unheard. Memories linger like ghosts, haunting the edges of consciousness. A forgotten birthday, not marked by the usual laughter or the glow of candles, but by a silence that spoke volumes. A day that passed with no acknowledgement, leaving behind a lingering question. Am I truly seen? The question echoes unanswered, in the recesses of a mind filled with doubt. Each forgotten moment, a reminder of an invisible existence, a life lived on the periphery. The weight of pleasing others is a burden carried silently, a yoke that presses down with unyielding force. The need to be liked, to be accepted, becomes a dance of endless compromise, a dance that leaves feet sore and spirit weary. In every interaction, there is a calculation, a careful crafting of words and actions to ensure they align with expectations. Yet each concession chips away at the essence of self, leaving behind a hollow shell that echoes with emptiness. There is a shame that clings like a shadow, a silent shame that whispers in the dark. It tells tales of inadequacy, of not being enough, of being unworthy of love and belonging. This shame is a companion as constant as the silence, a reminder of past mistakes, of failures that cannot be undone. It is a weight that pulls down, a gravity that binds to a ground that feels more like quicksand with each passing day. And so the act continues, the daily masquerade of normalcy, as the world spins on, oblivious to the turmoil within. Faces pass by, each one a blur, each one a reminder of the isolation that feels all-consuming, the longing for release, for a moment of genuine connection remains unmet, a distant dream obscured by the fog of self-doubt. The search for freedom feels endless, a journey with no clear path, no guiding star to light the way. In this vast landscape of emotion, there is a question, hanging like a thread in the air. What happens when the past is faced, when the mask is finally allowed to slip and the storm within is given voice? In the stillness of that cold room, where the echoes of laughter seem like distant memories, a subtle shift begins. It's the kind of awareness that creeps in quietly, like dawn breaking through a fog. This is the moment just before the realization that suffering in its raw and unfiltered form can carry a meaning deeper than the pain itself. It's as though the very act of existing within despair becomes a canvas for something more profound to emerge. Imagine a heart once heavy with loss, each beat a reminder of what was and what can never be again. In the silence of solitude, there comes a flicker of understanding. It's not the absence of love that defines this heartbreak, but the enduring presence of love's memory. A person sits in this silence, and for the first time, they allow themselves to fully feel the weight of their grief. And in this surrender, a strange comfort surfaces, an inkling that perhaps this pain is a bridge to something greater. It's a paradox, isn't it? The very thing that seems to break us can also be what shapes us. Viktor Frankl, a beacon of hope, amidst unimaginable despair, spoke of finding meaning in suffering, not as an escape, but as a way through. In the depths of doubt and confusion, there's an opportunity to see oneself not as a victim of circumstance, but as an active participant in the journey of healing. Consider a day when the rain falls like tears from a sorrowful sky, and a woman stands at her window watching the droplets race down the glass. In that moment, she realizes that each drop is like a piece of her own story, falling, merging, disappearing, and yet, in its brief existence, it is part of something larger. It's through this simple act of observation that she glimpses a deeper truth. The rain will pass, the clouds will part, and the sun will shine again. Her heart, once burdened with a sense of inadequacy, starts to beat with a quiet resilience. This awareness, this shift from confusion to clarity, isn't an end, but a beginning. It's the realization that one's identity is not confined by past failures or future fears. Instead, it is a tapestry woven from every moment of suffering, every tear shed, every silent plea for understanding. And within this tapestry lies a strength that can transform despair into a turning point. If you find yourself resonating with these words, if they help name something that's been silent inside you, know that you are not alone. We are all travelers on this path, seeking meaning in our struggles. Join us by subscribing, and together, we'll continue to explore these depths, finding light in the shadows and strength in vulnerability. In the dim light of the room, a letter sits on the table, edges worn, but the seal unbroken. It has been there for weeks, a silent testament to a choice not yet made. Each day, it waits, patient as the tide, while its intended reader walks past, casting glances filled with a mix of fear and curiosity. It represents a truth untold, an emotion unfelt, yet today feels different. There's a subtle shift in the air, a whisper of change that flutters like the pages of an unread book. Nearby, an old piano stands solemnly, its keys untouched, a monument to forgotten melodies. Dust dances in the air around it, caught in beams of soft afternoon light, as if the universe itself is urging the music to return. The piano is a relic of past passions, its silence a canvas for unspoken dreams. The room holds its breath, as if anticipating the moment when fingers might brush the keys once more, coaxing life from silence. Then there's the presence of someone who lingers at the threshold of a decision, a pivotal moment suspended in time. Usually when fears bubble up, they turn away, retreating into familiarity. But not today. Today, they choose to stay, rooted, in place, feeling the ground beneath their feet and the weight of the moment settling on their shoulders. It's an act of defiance against the inner whispers that urge flight. Instead, there is a decision to pause, to breathe, to exist fully in this sacred space between what was and what could be. Outside, the rain continues its gentle descent, each drop a reminder of time's passage, of the cyclical nature of all things. It's a symphony of nature's persistence, echoing the resilience found within. An umbrella leans unused by the door, a symbol of protection not needed, as if saying that sometimes letting the rain fall on you is the only way to truly feel alive. In this room, with its silent witnesses, the letter, the piano, and the choice to remain, there is a quiet acceptance that transformation requires stillness. It requires listening to the echoes of one's own heart, acknowledging the fears that dwell there, and finding strength in vulnerability. It's the space where one learns to embrace the discomfort, understanding that it is not an enemy but a teacher. The air is thick with potential, a palpable energy that hums with the promise of change. It's a moment suspended in time, where the past and future converge, and all that matters is the present breath. In this stillness, everything is possible. It is the quiet before the storm, the breath held before the leap, the pause before the first note. And in the sacred pause, transformation awaits, holding its breath. In the heart of silence, there lies a profound truth. It is not merely the absence of sound, but a space where fear softens and silence steadies. What if your quietness was strength all along? What if the moments you thought were weaknesses were actually signals guiding you towards a deeper understanding of yourself? This is the moment when the shift begins. Not with a sudden epiphany or a grand revelation, but with a felt truth that resonates from within. It's the realization that you no longer need to apologize for your existence. Every breath you take, every step you walk is filled with dignity. Dignity that you carve out of your grief, your struggles, and your resilience. Imagine standing in front of a mirror, not to criticize or judge, but to acknowledge. Acknowledge the person staring back at you with all their scars and stories. These are not marks of failure, but badges of survival. What if your pain wasn't a weakness, but a signal that you are alive, that you have endured, and that you are capable of transformation? There is a fear that softens when you face it, not because it disappears, but because you learn to hold it with gentleness. You begin to see that vulnerability is not a flaw, but a part of the human condition. It is in this acceptance that you find a new kind of freedom, the freedom to be who you are without pretenses or masks. In the quiet moments when the world seems to pause, you start to breathe again. Really breathe. Allow air to fill your lungs and with it a renewed sense of purpose. You find strength in the stillness and clarity in the chaos. It is here, in this delicate balance, that you begin to understand the true essence of Viktor Frankl's teachings. Life is not solely about the pursuit of happiness, but about finding meaning, even in suffering. It's about turning despair into a stepping stone for growth, about seeing every challenge as an opportunity to learn and evolve. You begin to see your narrative not as a linear path, but a mosaic of experiences that shape and define you. So, as you stand at this crossroads, ask yourself, what if you embraced your story with all its messiness and beauty? What if you allowed yourself the grace to unfold, moment by moment, without rushing to the next chapter? If this touched something quiet inside you, I'd be honored to hear what it stirred. Leave a comment if you feel like sharing. We're all walking through something. In the quiet of the room, where once the air felt thick with echoes of doubt, now it settles like a gentle blanket, comforting in its simplicity. The light left on in the corner bathes the space in a warm glow, a beacon of continuity amidst the shifting sands of thought. There is a presence here, not of answers or resolutions, but of quiet companionship, a silent witness to the journey walked. Before you, a worn photograph rests, edges curled and colors softened by time. It tells a story not just of moments captured, but of the spaces in between, the laughter, tears, and whispers of what has been. The image is a reminder that every path walked leaves an indelible mark on the soul, even if unseen. In its worn beauty, it holds a truth, that the past, while immutable, need not chain the heart to its shadows. Silence fills the room, but it is a silence that no longer hurts. It is not the silence of absence or waiting, but the sacred stillness of presence. Here, in this moment, you sit with yourself, not as an adversary to be conquered, but as an old friend, familiar and understood. It is a silence that listens, that holds space for what is yet to be spoken, for the gentle breath of acceptance to permeate through each thought and feeling. You have walked through fire, felt the heat of doubt and fear singe the edges of your being. Yet here you are, sitting in the aftermath where the ashes give way to fertile ground. In this sacred stillness, there is no urgency, no need to rush to conclusions or destinations. There is only the gentle unfolding of self, a recognition that to be alive is to be in constant flux, and that is where the beauty lies. The light. In the corner flickers softly, a dance of shadows that plays across the walls. It is a reminder that light and dark coexist, each giving shape and meaning to the other. The worn photograph, the gentle silence, the flickering light, all are parts of the tapestry that is your existence. Each thread, each moment, woven together to create a story uniquely yours. In this quiet companionship, there is an understanding that life is not about erasing scars or silencing doubts, but about embracing them as part of the whole. It is about finding meaning in the spaces between, in the unsaid and the undone. It is about knowing that to sit with oneself in both silence and understanding is to truly be free. If this reached something quiet inside you, you can like the video so someone else might feel less alone too. In the gentle embrace of solitude, we find a truth that whispers in the spaces between our thoughts. It's in the quiet moments when the world fades into the background that we encounter the depths of our own being. As we journey through life, there are times when the silence around us speaks louder than any words could. It tells us of our resilience, the scars we've earned, and the strength we didn't know we had. In this sacred stillness, we meet ourselves anew. We come to understand that our past, with all its shadows and light, has shaped us into who we are today. Each moment of doubt, each pang of fear, is a brushstroke in the masterpiece of our existence. And as we stand here now, we realize that the journey is not about escaping the pain, but embracing it, allowing it to guide us to deeper truths. We are not alone in this. The silence we feared is a companion, a guide that shows us the way forward. It is here, in this profound quiet, that we find a connection to something greater than ourselves. We see that our struggles are not in vain, but rather stepping stones to a richer, more meaningful life. If this reached something quiet inside, you can like the video, so someone else might feel less alone, too. The world outside may be chaotic, but within there is a sanctuary, a place where we can rest, reflect, and find peace. It's in this inner world that we discover the true essence of who we are. And in embracing this, we find the freedom to live authentically, to love deeply, and to walk our path with courage and grace. Maybe the silence was never empty after all. Thank you for watching. Be part of our community by subscribing to the channel. See you in the next video.